Hello my crafty friends, I hope you're having a fabulous day today. My name is Robyn Pitts with Sir Chauncey Rocco Creative Designs. I'm really excited to announce that I have been invited to be a guest designer for ReneaBouquets. For my first project, I created this beautiful Shabby Chic violin box. Before I review it in further detail, let me show you the paper that I use. I use the Prima Golden Coast paper. I absolutely love this. The beautiful pastel colors, the ocean themes, the seahorses. I also love the gold foil throughout. This was just so much fun to work with. As you can see, this is a sizable project. This measures 19 inches from the top to the bottom of the handle, and at the widest point is 6 inches. I really enjoyed using ReneaBouquets products. Her theme is beauty with an edge, and I have to say this is absolutely true for this project. The first item that I want to point out is this beautiful ivory chiffon flower. This has a pearl and rhinestone detail in the center of it. I think it looks so pretty anchored here. And all of these flowers that you see here are from Renee's store. I did embellish these a bit, and I used one of my go-to glitter paints. This is by Folk Art. It's called Glitterific, and it's hologram. I use this quite frequently on my projects. Because of the ocean theme, you will see several different seashells that are hidden throughout this project. On the top of the box here, you can see some of the seashells here. I've included these beautiful little floral sprays. Here you can see these handmade dragonflies. These are all made in Renee's store. I think they're so beautiful. They are tipped with diamond dust. Here we have this beautiful seahorse, and I flanked that with this beauty board from Renee's store. To alter this, I used two different alcohol inks. I used an apricot color and a light pink, and then I distressed it with white acrylic paint, and then I used embossing powder on top of it to give it a little shimmer, and then I added in randomly some of these beautiful pink and ivory glass beads. Here we have a large pearl from my stash, and then I've also added in this resin flower, pearls and rhinestone jewelry piece that I had in my stash. I just think that looks so pretty. Also, I want to point out this beautiful butterfly. Again, this is another handmade piece from ReneaBouquets, and it's lined with these beautiful white pearls. On the side of the violin box, I have edged it with this beautiful iridescent pink pearl. And I did take some creative liberties with this. I have a seashell here holding down the strings of the violin, and then I just used the pearls to line the handle. On the bottom here, I've included this very pretty floral spray. We have another seashell. We have these beautiful lace leaves here. And then here is more of that beauty board from Renee's store. Again, I also used alcohol ink to decorate this, white acrylic paint, and you can see the beautiful glass beads that are attached. On the top of the handle, I have these beautiful beads, and then I added pearls to finish it off. Here's a better view of this side. I did want to point out this beautiful pink tulle trim. This is in a box pleat, and then I layered that with more lace from Renee's store that's woven behind these flowers. Isn't that pretty? And look at how pretty these flowers glisten with that holographic paint. On the side, I've lined this with more pearl details. Now this box opens, and inside, you'll notice that I've completely finished both the top and the bottom. I plan to add in a mini album, which I think will be perfect with the Gold Coast paper. This is a very sturdy piece, and it looks beautiful on the front and the back. I just love the way this turned out. Now that you've taken a closer look at this project, I'm going to clear off my desktop and gather materials so that we can make this box together. I'll be right back. I've just logged on to Cricut Design Space and I opened up the 3D violin box. Before we start our project, I did want to take some time to review all of the elements in this file. In the upper left-hand corner, you see this purple section. This is the top box. To the right, you have the orange section, and this is the bottom of the box. Now, you will notice that each section has these little tabs at the top, the side, and the bottom. These pieces are laid out exactly as they should be put together when you're making the box. So when you're gluing them, you should make sure that you're gluing them exactly in the order that you see here, and that's for the bottom as well as the top. In the lower left-hand side, we have the decorative cover for the front and the decorative cover for the back. To the right, we have these 4 elements here, and this makes up the handle to the violin. And this black area are the strings that attach to the front of the violin. Now, one thing that is not included in the file are these 3 additional handles. As I was making the box, I wanted to make the handle extra sturdy, and I found that cutting 3 handles in 110-pound cardstock and then overlaying it with a piece of decorative paper really makes it extra sturdy. And then last but not least, we have the bow for the violin. I'm going to switch back to my craft room and we will begin making the 3D violin box. Now we are ready to assemble our violin. I've already gone ahead and assembled the base of our box, so I'm going to set this aside. We will use the following pieces. This is our top decorative piece. I'll set that aside. We have the lid to our box, and then we have a variety of pieces. These 2 pieces will go on the inside curves. These 2 pieces will form the bottom of the violin box, and these 2 pieces will go on the top. Before we start gluing anything down, you want to go ahead and train your paper. So I'm going to put these pieces aside, and we're going to work on these 2 pieces. Now, there's a few things to keep in mind. You know that this is the top of the box because if you look right here, there's a little slit. This side doesn't have it, but this side does. This is the top of the box. This corresponds directly to the decorative piece. If you look closely here, you can see the little slit here and there's none there. So when you glue the decorative piece on, it should fit perfectly, just like so. You want to keep that in mind so that you don't accidentally glue the decorative paper on the wrong side. For these 2 pieces, what we need to do is go ahead and curve the paper, just like so, and I'm just using this regular bone folder. The glue that I will be using today is my very well-worn bottle of Art Glitter Glue. I love this stuff. And here is this beautiful glue bottle charm that my friend Debbie Vignola made for me. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so now we want to start gluing these pieces down, but what you need to do is turn this top lid over because we're going to be gluing these pieces to the back of the top lid. And again, this little slit here is now on the right side. Go ahead and fold along the score lines, and you want to go ahead and fold all of these tabs down. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. And the score marks will be right there for you, so it'll be easy to see. Now for this project, I'm creating a triple layer so that the box will be extra sturdy. I've got 110-pound cardstock on the inside. I've got decorative paper on the outside, and then when I finish the top, I will also line that again on the inside. I'm not doing that now because I don't want the paper to be too thick when I'm gluing it. So now we're going to go ahead and glue these pieces in. This piece will be glued in just like so. The first tab that we're going to glue down is this little tab here, and we're going to glue it to this piece right here. So you want to take your time and make sure that you line this piece up. You can hold this back so that you can get it out of your way. This piece fits perfectly onto this little piece here, and it should fit right in between these score marks right here. I don't know if you can see that. Once you get a good anchor with this first piece, you can go ahead and start adding glue to the other tabs. Just a little dot will be fine. Now we're going to push this piece in to form the curve, just like so. Give it a chance to hold, and then you want to move on to the next section. You want to make sure you push in from the back. I'm using my middle finger and this finger here to push it in so that it curves nicely. You can also take your bone folder and make sure there's a good strong adhesion there. And then move on to the next section. And then what you want to do is make sure that you glue this little piece in right on the tab, right in between the score lines like you did this first piece here. So I'm going to add in a little bit more glue. Okay, so we've got our first curve here. And that should fit nicely just like so. Let's go ahead and do the other side. Okay, that's going to be just like this. So we're going to glue this tab to this tab here. Make sure you have it glued on straight, not at an angle. If you have it glued at an angle, it'll poke out on the bottom. Okay, now you can go ahead and add glue to the rest of the pieces here. And again, what you want to do is push in these pieces, do it slowly, make sure that it has a nice strong adhesion. Okay, so you've got this piece glued down. Everything is nice and flush. So now we're ready to start adding in the rest of our other pieces. So what we want to do is this larger piece on the top here. I'm going to turn this around and I'm going to take these two longer strips and I'm going to curve them the other way this time so that there's a nice half curve just like this, which is the opposite of what we did for these pieces where we've curved them in. We're going to go ahead and fold on the score lines. You want to make sure you fold right at the score lines. I'm going to go ahead and do that to this other piece. Okay, so now I'm going to start gluing this larger piece down. I'm going to use this piece on the side and glue it to this little flap here. Make sure you get the glue right up next to the score line. So I'm just going to slide this in under and align the pieces right up to the score line, just like so. Okay, can you see that? It's right up to the score line. And you want to just give that a few seconds to hold. Okay. If you want, take your bone folder and just give that a nice burnish. Okay, and then flip it over and then start gluing down the pieces. I'm just putting glue on all of the tabs because I think it's a little easier to do once you're curving the top of the box. Okay, so now we're just going to push these tabs in and use your fingers to press and curve. And you can continue curving it all the way to the top. You want to make sure that this is a nice curve on the top here and that none of these pieces come undone because the box won't fit properly. Now I'm going to glue this next piece on like so. I'm going to put glue on this tab right here. And then I'm going to attach these two pieces. Okay, let's go and start adding glue to these little tabs. Push these pieces in. And we're going to glue these two pieces together right here. And give this a nice burnish here. Okay, so I've got this right side bottom glued down. I'm going to finish gluing these tabs here. Okay, I'm just going to finish pushing it in just like so. Turn around and make sure this is straight, and it is. So we now have the top of the box completed. Next, what I want to do is add in these panels. Just like we did for this bottom box here, I added in the side panels. These are the same panels on the side. However, I cut off the little edges on the bottom so I could just easily glue them in. So we're going to do that together. Just like before, you have two longer pieces. You have two side pieces which curve here, and then these pieces which go on the bottom. So I'm going to start with the side. We're going to curve your paper. So we're going to glue these pieces here, and there are perforation lines here. You just want to line it up to where the bends are in the paper. Okay. You may find that you need to trim off a little bit on the bottom. So once you cut off that little bit, it should fit perfectly here and not go over the top of the box. Let's go ahead and put some glue on. Make sure you get it right in these corners here and just hold. See how nicely that fits in there? Let's go ahead and do that to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to cut off some of this here on the bottom. And I'm really just cutting off about 1/8 of an inch. Let's glue this piece in. Make sure you really get it glued down well in these corners here, because you don't want it popping up. So now we want to glue in the larger pieces. So I'm going to start on this side. Okay, I'm going to glue this piece in. Again, we need to cut these pieces. I'm actually going to cut these two pieces together. Glue these pieces in. Make sure you glue it really well here in the corner where the two pieces of paper overlap. Okay, I'm going to take this other piece, and I'm going to cut off this little edge here. This is another perforation line. Glue this piece in. I'm going to glue this down in the corner first. Make sure it's aligned perfectly in the corner. Give it a few seconds to hold, and then securely attach the other pieces. Okay, so let's glue in the bottom. Cut these just a little bit. I'm going to put this here to cover up this little edge. Make sure you hold this corner here well. And then we have this last little piece here. I'm going to cut off this tab. You really only need these on the outside when you're constructing the box. I'm going to glue this last side piece down. Again, make sure you have it nice and secure in the corners. Give it a few seconds and then work your way around. Next, I cut out a decorative piece to go on the top part of the lid, and this piece is going to be very snug once you put it in. Let's go ahead and glue this in. Okay, so let's put this piece in. Okay, just work your finger all the way around, and there we go. We've got our liner, and you can't see anything on the opposite side, so it's a perfect fit. Okay, so let's turn this over, and we are going to glue on the top of our box. Add some more glue to the bottom, and you want to make sure that you have the glue all the way out to the edges. I'm going to make sure these are lined up perfectly. I'm going to turn this over and use my bone folder to make sure there's a nice strong adhesion. Make sure you get really close to the edges here because you don't want the top of the box to lift. Okay, and so that is the top of our box. I'm going to set this aside, and we are now going to work on the handle of the violin. So I'm going to grab these pieces. There are 4 pieces for the handle. And what you want to do is go ahead and fold along the score lines. So I'm just folding all of these pieces, and this is going to form a little box under the handle, and we're going to attach that to the base of our violin. Now that we have all of our pieces folded, let's start to put this together. First, you want to grab this piece here. It has this little notch here on the side. and you want to glue this piece to it. So what you're going to do is fold this in like so, and then you're going to glue this piece to it so that it starts to form the handle, just like so. So I'm going to put some glue here. I'm going to put this right at the corner where the score lines are. Okay, and you want to make sure that you push in these sides here at the top. And you want to make sure that it's straight because it will shift. Next, you want to take this piece and you want to take the smaller piece and put it right inside here, just like so, so that it forms a little box. So this should all come together just like so. And this is what the other side should look like. Now we have this piece together, we're going to glue this to the back of this handle. Now this handle I cut out 4 layers, plus I have the decorative paper to make it extra sturdy. So I'm going to glue this just below these 2 pieces here. Okay, you want to make sure you have it glued in the center of the handle. Make sure you have ample glue here because this will get a lot of wear and tear. And then I'm putting glue on these tabs. Again, this is going to go right up here. Now that we have this little box glued onto the handle, we're going to glue this handle onto the back of the violin. And you want to get it centered just like so. Okay, I'm going to put glue right here. And then along this edge here, and then right attached to the back end. You want to make sure that it's centered in the middle of the violin. And just hold that in place. And I'm taking my finger and rubbing against where this overlaps, and then I'm pressing in this handle at the same time. So now that we have our handle glued on securely, we can go ahead and put the top onto the base. I'm going to finish decorating the violin box off camera, and then I will return with the completed project. I'll be right back. This is my completed violin box. I had so much fun decorating this. I loved the products that I used from ReneaBouquets store. If you haven't already, please be sure to watch my previous video where I review all of the items that were included in my guest design team package. I've also included direct links to the items in Renea's store so that you can easily purchase them for your project. This concludes my review of my Shabby Chic violin box. Hopefully I've inspired you with some new and creative ideas. If you like this video, please take a moment to leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to hit that little bell so that you will always be notified of my upcoming videos. Please also stay tuned for my next project from ReneaBouquets. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video. Bye for now, and happy crafting.